Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and hope you guys having a wonderful day, even though it's early as it is. And we're gonna get straight into the video here. Not gonna be too much articles, not very much anything. This is gonna be kind of like just a straight video day, or well, straight video thing that I usually do. And yeah, we're gonna kind of be showing exactly that the Democrats have been, and there's a bit of evidence of this, are when they lose the so-called election or midterms, and midterms as of this year and the next couple of months, and then obviously the 2020 election, that they're going to start claiming and saying that the election was stolen, as they have done in 2016. Well, without further ado, we are going to show exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the first clip.
In that room. Former President Trump went on a long rant about transgender Americans, and he used transphobic language. In particular, he was talking about transgender women competing in sports and said that they were men trying to compete against women, which of course is not the right way to talk about that issue. But what you saw there was sort of the belly of the beast, the Republican Party that is the donor class, that is the people that are sort of setting the policy agenda. They were also most excited about lies. And I think that really sticks with me because a lot of times we talk about sort of throwing red meat to the base. But this was the part of the party that might possibly have been choosing the next nominee before sort of it became about rallies and big crowds. And they, too, are very much into the lies that President Trump is continuing to spew.
So, yeah, this isn't necessarily about the votings or quite yet, or how everything has been going on, but the lies Trump is spewing, the lies, the fact that that biological men are entering women's sports and destroying them, really, that's a lie? Why don't we take a few look at these clips and really see who's lying?
Thomas taking first place in the NCAA 500-yard freestyle. She is the first transgender athlete to be crowned NCAA champion, but not without controversy, because critics say she has an unfair physical advantage over the other swimmers and should not have been allowed to compete. Now, second place went to University of Virginia swimmer Emma Wyant, who won a silver medal in last year's Tokyo Olympics. She's getting an outpouring of support on social media, with some calling her the true winner. And we saw, Lauren, at that medal ceremony, the crowd was virtually silent when Lia Thomas was announced the winner, the first place winner, and yet they went crazy cheering for the second place.
Came second in a skateboarding competition to a 29-year-old transgender woman. And I always qualify, when you say transgender woman, you mean biological male. This is the way the left twists words to the opposite of what they mean. A biological male who now identifies as a woman has won the skateboarding competition in New York. 13-year-old girl taking home second prize. Do you think the 13-year-old girl, when she gets home, mum and dad say to her, try a bit harder and you'll get there next time, James? Yes! Ow!
The first race that I competed against a transgender athlete was during my freshman year. And once the gun went off, the two transgender athletes took off flying and left all of us girls in the dust. I knew right then and there that some girls would be missing out on great opportunities to succeed, and that women could be completely eradicated from their own sports.
The state of Connecticut's Athletic Association now allows biological males to compete in women's sports, and that has had the effect of displacing girls like Selena from podium spots and from advancing to the next level of competition. It really has created an unlevel playing field for women's sports in Connecticut.
I've lost opportunities to compete at world-class tracks. I've lost opportunities to compete in front of college coaches and gain attention. And I've lost opportunities to win titles. I know that I'm not the only girl who has missed out on opportunities. There are countless other girls who have lost meets and titles and their drive to compete as hard as they can because they know that they will never be good enough to compete against these athletes.
Yeah, Trump's lying about all that. He's lying about how transgender people are going into women's sports and absolutely destroying them. That's what's happening. That's totally fake. You know, it's totally not happening. You know, it's surprising and all. Yeah. This is the reason why nobody believes you and you're gonna get swept. Because nobody trusts you or likes you. You spread lies. Trump has been correct about majority of things. Remember when Germany laughed at Trump for not wanting to harbor their, have their own energy? Well, guess what's happening now? Now they're in trouble. Keep laughing, Germany. Nice to see that you bred Hitler. And the rest of you fucking sheep follow along with them. Maybe laughing's not something you should do. Anyways, let's go look at this other video that particularly shows exactly what I mean about they're just gonna cry voter fraud or the election was stolen in 2022, potentially 2024, because midterms is 2022, because that's all they got. Take a look.
Trying to restrict voting rights. Chuck Schumer is calling it an existential threat to democracy. Why not back a filibuster rule that at least gets around issues including voting rights or immigration? Jim Clyburn, someone of course who you know very well, has backed the idea of a filibuster rule when it comes to civil rights and voting rights.
In a democracy, no right is more sacred than the right to vote. And yet, across the country, Republican-controlled state legislatures are conducting the most sweeping and coordinated attack on voting rights in generations. Republican legislatures are not only making it harder to vote, they're making it easier to steal an election. Actually believe that.
Americans say the country is going in the wrong direction. Nearly 60% of voters say America's best years are behind it. Nearly 60%. Yamiche, why are people so unhappy these days?
Jose, it's a great question. And I've been out on the campaign trail. I'm in Alabama just today doing some stories about sort of redistricting and the political atmosphere in this state. But what you see really is on the Democratic side, people that are very, very worried about the direction of this country. They're very worried, especially about former President Trump possibly coming back into power, or former President Trump or another Republican stealing the election in 2022 or 2024, or former President Trump or another Republican stealing the election in 2022 or 2024.
Stealing the election in 2022 or 2024.
Because we've seen so many election deniers be elected. So a lot of Democrats on the Democratic side, they're very worried about abortion also and abortion rights. And then on the Republican side, I can tell you that I'm also hearing from people that, especially some that are unfortunately believing conspiracy theories and lies about the election of 2020, they're worried that the country is going in the wrong direction because they're seeing too many people say that the election was free and fair, which of course it was. You're also hearing a lot of anxiety based on my reporting.
You can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
How can you win with Russian interference, though?
That's a real
what I'm
thing.
scared about in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
He's an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate? Folks, look, I absolutely agree.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election
and he was put into office because the Russians interfered.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president.
The president-elect, although legally elected, is not legitimate.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You said you believe that Russia's interference altered the outcome of the election.
I do. We have a president who, if in fact it is proven, has been assisted by the Russians and may in fact not be a legitimate president.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
I have an objection.
I object to the 15 votes from the state of North Carolina.
I object because people are horrified.
He's an illegitimate president.
Do you believe Trump is a legitimate president?
What I believe is that there's no question that the outcome of this election was affected by the Russian interference.
There absolutely is a cloud of illegitimacy.
So that legitimacy is in question, yes.
So that was a very tainted election, and in that sense, it's illegitimate.
Why do you think the president is going to such great lengths to essentially prove that he beat you?
Because he knows he didn't. He knows he's an illegitimate president.
Stolen emails, stolen drone, stolen election. Welcome to the world of unprecedented Trump.
Overwhelming evidence of official misconduct, deliberate fraud, and an attempt to suppress voter turnout.
It is signed by myself on behalf of my diverse constituents and the millions of Americans who have been disenfranchised by Florida's inaccurate vote count.
The Supreme Court, not the people of the United States, decided this election.
See, and there you have it. They actively been saying, if any of you critically think and you actually think about what they're doing and what they're actually saying, you get to see that the Democrats, the far left, are actively saying that if the Republicans or conservatives or what have you win the election in 2024, that it will be considered stolen. They said this the whole time when Trump won back in 2016, how the whole election was stolen, or how it's fraudulent. And when we go out and say it's fraudulent in 2021, that Joe Biden is not the legitimate president, and that we had great concerns about the integrity of our country and how our voting system works, they go out and scream, oh, well, the 24 election is going to be illegitimate, even though there's plenty of statistics saying otherwise, and plenty of voter polls saying otherwise, that a lot of the country is upset and are going to vote Republican. Nevada, I may believe, is even a state that is going to turn from blue to red. And it's been like that for a couple of years, and now it may go to blue, or it may go to red. And then we also had certain blue places in Texas. Texas got more red, and it won by a female one. Maya Flores, I may believe. The Democrats are absolutely denial, and especially this one woman right here, this black woman, that is actively saying that the reason why 60 or 70% of Americans are don't want another, are scared of a legitimate president, of Trump taking over, or that a Republican is going to take over and steal the election, which is completely insanity. But the reason why she's so in denial is because that's not the reason why people are upset the way the country is going. They're upset the way the country is going because Joe Biden, the man that you voted for, the Democrats that thought that this guy was a great guy, the man you voted for, he's the one that caused all the problems. He's the reason why the gas prices are high. Yes, everybody's going to say, oh, the war in Ukraine. Okay, the gas prices were going up before the war in Ukraine. Use your noggin up a little bit. So, he was the one that got rid of the XL pipeline. He's the one that when he did that, everything started rising because of him. The immense amount of spending that they've been doing, the Tax Reduction Act, or not the Tax Reduction Act, but the Inflation Reduction Act, which is only going to increase inflation more. Interest rates are going up to battle the actual inflation. Joe Biden has been doing all of this. The reason why people also hate him is because the amount of 13 soldiers that died under his wing, and the fact that we were trying to get Americans out of Afghanistan when it got started to get raided, and President Joe Biden did absolutely fucking nothing to help the American people get out. It took a man called Bill Maher, I may believe, to spend his own money to get the American people out. But our Lord and behold, our God and Savior, Joe Biden, did absolutely nothing. This is the reason why people are angry. This is the reason why people think the country is going the wrong way. Because of the things that Joe Biden has done, which has increasingly made people's lives worse. You want to go to the Democratic cities? Oh, go to Democratic cities. Let's see how long before you get stabbed or shot or potentially robbed, because, you know, because crime has been rising consistently. You know the whole mantra of the Democrats that were saying, oh, we're going to reduce crime? Oh, they didn't really reduce crime, now are they? Because crime across all Democratic cities are skyrocketing, and it's like third world countries in those cities. Are we going to talk about how the majority of black people started a flash mob to go rob a store? And we're not going to say that's not a black community problem? Oh, they get a pass because they're black. That's what the Democrats are going to say. And that's mass crime. That store had things smashed and destroyed by people that decided to rob it. You don't see that in the Republican cities. It's time to wake up, people, because this is the reality that we're living in. The Democrats have caused all these issues, and this is the reason why American people are pissed. Sorry to say it. Well, guys, now you're seeing the reality. Join with me, and let's fight back against these criminals, because we all know the way they're doing it. That's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.